Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. The introduction, page number 21. Srila Prabhupada introduces the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, where we get the real picture of the material world, which is an upside-down reflection of the spiritual world. And the trick to come out from this reverse vision, which is compulsory, those who are an attachment of the body. So how to come out? So in this 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the real picture of material world is given. It is said there, Urdhva moolam adah shakham asvattha prahurabhyayam chandansi yasya paranani yastam veda so vedavit. Here the material world is described as a tree whose roots are upwards and branches are below. We have experience of a tree whose roots are upwards. If one stands on the bank of a river or any reservoir of water, he can see that the tree reflected in the water are upside down. The branches go downward and the roots go upward. Similarly, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. The material world is but a shadow of reality. In the shadow there is no reality or substantiality, but from the shadow we can understand that there are substances and realities. In the desert there is no water, but the mirage suggests that there is such thing as water. In the material world there is no water, there is no happiness, but the real water of actual happiness is there in the spiritual world. The Lord suggests that we attain the spiritual world in following manner. Bhagavad-Gita, 15th chapter, 5th verse. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvendvair vimukta sukha dukkha samnyair gachanti mudham padam avyayam tat. Tat padam avyayam, or the kingdom of God, or the eternal kingdom, can be reached by one who is nirmana moha. What does that mean? We are after designation. Someone wants to become Sir, someone wants to become Lord, someone wants to become the president or a rich man or a king or something else. As long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body because designations belong to the body. But we are not these bodies, and realizing this is the first stage in spiritual realization. We are associated with the three modes of material nature, but we must become detached through the devotional service to the Lord. If we are not attached to devotional service to the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the modes of material nature. Designations and attachment are due to our lust and desire, our wanting to lord it over the material nature. As long as we do not give up this propensity of lording over the material nature, There is no possibility of returning to the kingdom of the Supreme, the Sanatan Dham, that eternal kingdom which is never destroyed, can approach by one who is not bewildered by the attraction of the false material enjoyment, who is situated in the service of the Supreme Lord. One so situated can easily approach the Supreme Abode. So, we can stop there. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshulmilitanjena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Shri Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakturanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Srila Prabhupada is giving the introduction that in 15th chapter, Krishna is giving the real picture of the material world. And that's a description of completely an imaginary kind of picture. And sometimes we get the example of that, like that a tree which is upside down. Where can we see such a tree? Even this Asvatha Vruksha that Krishna is talking, Asvatha Prarur Avyayam. They call it Asvatha. Asvatha, Krishna is declaring that Vrikshanam Asvatha. Krishna is telling that Asvatha is my Swarup. I am residing. My potency is in Asvatha Rup. It is next to impossible to cut or uproot the tree. The roots are so profusely underground that they will suck out water from anything and everywhere. And it is too difficult to kill it. It is worshipped for many reasons. Those who believe even in the ghost goblins and others, the forefathers passed away, they also worship Asvatha Vriksha. But Krishna says, that is my Swarup. My potential manifestation in the material world, know that among the tree I am Asvatha Vriksha. So, what is so great about Asvatha? Asvatha is the creation of the Lord. And as such, as a tree also, it is described that Adaschordhvam prastrustasya sakha pravruddha vishaya pravala mulanu anisantatani karmani bandhuniru. Karmanu bandhini. That this Aswatha Vruksh is so profusely grown that his branches are many and sub-branches are many. It is like Vishaya Pravala. Vishaya means the objects of sense gratification or senses. And Praval means profusely grown. You know, Praval means coral. Have you seen a coral growing in the sea? It bifurcates and bifurcates and bifurcates and bifurcates. So, profusely bifurcated. And that's a shelter for fish. And they hide in the Praval. But at the same time, Praval is a living entity. Only the calcium carbonate that extract through the body becomes layer, but it is very costly. You know, red coral is very famous, right? And it constitutes a good part of even the jewelry. It's very expensive. But nonetheless, Vishaya Pravala, the subject matter of the sense gratification are also bifurcated in it. Because the Vastu is there, Vishaya is also there. The thing is there, then its object or the Vishaya means the subjects. Objects and subjects both are present together. Object is the tree and the profuse is the subject matters of material world. They have been created. So they are also profuse. So naturally, if anybody enters into such tree, it will be difficult to find him and it will be difficult for him to come out from it. So in Bhavatavi explanation in Srimad Bhagavatam of this kind of profuse jungle, you do not see na anto na adi na anta. There is no beginning and there is no end. Such profusion is there. And Krishna wants to explain that this is my creation, but it has been done in the shadow of the reality. Shadow of the reality. Reality and absence of reality. Two things. And both can simultaneously exist. How? Due to ignorance. All right? So, reality is there, but we are living in the world of temporality or shadow. All right? So, therefore, how to get out of it? There must be a process. Instead of touching to branches and this and try to come out, it is so profuse you can't estimate even, and you get lost. But if we are able to be guided towards the root of this profusion and slash the roots asanga sastrena dradena chitva, cut that labyrinth with the sword of detachment. Because even the works and its reactions that are binding, they become the root cause of our material problems. And one cannot get out of it. So, mulanu anusantatani karmani manushya loke, bandhanu rupa karmani manushya loke. So in this manushya loke means it is meant for manushya, that they have to see that this is an upside down reflection. Not only that, it is so dense that once entered you will not be able to get out of it, but Krishna is guiding us to the root of the problem. Root of the problem is forgetfulness of Krishna. So Krishna reminds, go to the roots. And what is the problem? The forgetfulness. We thought that we are part of the tree, therefore we were attached to the tree. But when we come to know that we are not the trees, we are simply lost in the tree, then the knowledge is the weapon, and it should cut it. So detachment can arise. The detachment, and it means in this material world we have to live a detached life, not an attached life. And therefore, for that purpose, the head of the household is told that he has to work hard, very expeditiously to satisfy everybody's desire, but for him, he has to remain detached. If he becomes attached, then the whole thing becomes zero. If the head of the household becomes attached in the material world, then he cannot save anybody. So this is the position. So shadow and reality has to be understood. If Krishna says that this material world is like opposite reflection, otherwise generally the trees have the roots downward and branches upward. But here it is completely a reverse tree, that the branches are downward and roots are upward. And it is so profuse that you do not know where the beginning is and where is the end of it. It's like that. We are born into the dark action of ignorance, but it is from time immemorial. We have been being born and dying and born, reborn again and die again. So, bhutva praliyate, that is our function. And why we were doing it? Because we were ignorant. As long as we remain ignorant, we will keep on changing the bodies. We will think that we are part of this tree and family tree, explanations of the big lineage. But at the same time, the lineage is used in order to get relief, or bypass and go back home, back to Godhead too. So generally, the priest is also telling them which gotra are you coming from. And people will tell about their gotra or their physical lineage. But ultimately, he wants to connect it with Lord Krishna. And devotee said, we are from Achyuta gotra. Means our gotra is Krishna. We are directly connected to him. So no problem. So the idea is that the lineage is profusion, dynasties, right? In the material world, such lineage has so long importance, as much that in which lineage either a pure devotee has been born or an incarnation of Godhead has appeared. Otherwise, the whole lineage crumbles down. There is no purpose of understanding that. So, therefore, when the devotees are entering into the lineage of Lord Achyuta, then it means it's a definitive, unshakable position of a devotee, and he is going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he is not going to be deviated. Achyutam. Otherwise, deviations are there. So, this understanding is very corresponding to the liberation. And this liberation is automatic to the devotees who, by cultivation of devotional knowledge, nirmana moha, jita sanga dosha, adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha, dvandair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyaihi, gacchantya mudha, padamam avyayam tat. So, the Lord suggests that we attain the spiritual world in following manner. Here is that. That padam avyayam or eternal kingdom can be reached by one who is nirmana moha. What does it mean? We are after designation. Someone wants to become Sir, someone wants to become Lord, someone wants to become the president or a rich man or king or something else. When we occupy part of the tree, thinking this is my land and we want to become the president and this and that, even for the welfare, for good result or bad result, we want to usurp where we get lost. Does it make sense? If we have lost ourselves in that area, we do not know where we are, then what is the use to become president there? Means you are becoming president in ignorance. That is a realm of ignorance. You do not know where you are. So, what is the use? Those who are materialistic, those who want to become president or this and that, they are all under illusion. So, as long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body, because designations belong to the body. But we are not the bodies. So, and realizing this is the first stage of spiritual realization. So, even there, where there is difficult to see the light of knowledge, yet the far beyond that light of knowledge is the light of Brahma-jyoti. It is still pervading. Even in the dense darkness of such profuse tree, of material world, there is always a direct approach of the spiritual rays coming from Lord Krishna's body. This is called Brahma-jyoti. If Brahma-jyoti is not permeating this material atmosphere, how are we getting spiritualized? So, impersonalism is the first step in God realization. We do not discard, but we do not go after it alone. It is not our target. It comes on the way. So, we do not reject it, but just get acquainted with it. So, when we come above the three modes of material nature, but at the same time, unless and until we become detached from the effect of the three modes of material nature, then and then spiritual nature is available, not otherwise. So, acting in mode of goodness doesn't help us. But acting in mode of goodness in the process of devotional service will certainly help. Because devotional service is transcendental. Simply acting in mode of goodness can give us material credits to go to Swargaloka. But acting in devotional service in the mode of goodness is a very conducive way to perform devotional service. It is not what we call obstructing progress in the devotional service. Without mode of goodness, the activity of devotional service cannot be performed to make it transcendental. One must act in the mode of goodness. Sattva-avalambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Sattva is necessary. If sattva is there, then it will help us to understand the transcendental mode. And if we concentrate on transcendental mode, that is parasattva, then we can approach Krishna, who is Vishuddha Sattva. So, if we are associated with the three modes of material nature, but we must become detached through the devotional service of the Lord. We have to act under mode of goodness, but unless and until we perform devotional service, which is transcendental activity, how is it that mode of goodness is going to work alone? That's why the impersonalist, as we said in the morning, that they fell, and they fall in very, very hard. Because they think we are working in a mode of goodness for the welfare of others, but it is equivalent to worship of God. That's a miscalculation. It never becomes equivalent. If we serve with the aim of devotional service, we perform devotional service also, and the recipient also performs the devotional service. So, the result of devotional service will be transcendental. One can not only liberate, but one can rise above the platform of liberation and to go back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, we are stuck in bhavatavi, get lost in the material world. So, we have to be attached to devotional service to the Lord. Then we cannot become, if we are not attached to the devotional service of the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the modes of material nature. So designation, attachments are due to our lust and desire, our wanting to load it over in the material world. So as long as we do not give up the propensity of loading it over material nature, there is no possibility of returning to kingdom of the Supreme Lord. This is also equally applicable to the impersonalist, because they have no inclination for loving devotional service. They negate the Lord, who cannot be having any relationship with them. Rather, they want to usurp the position of the Lord by becoming the Lord themselves. So, how much relationship you can have with yourself? Relationship cannot be between oneself. It's between the two entities. So the impersonal realization is incomplete, totally incomplete. Now, supreme abode is Sanatan Dham. Material abode is temporary Dham. So, it is also being created, sustained, and dissolved. So, when the things are totally changing for the body or the ingredients of the body within this, the forest of existence, material nature, they also get destroyed. they are also for some time. So we get lost altogether. We are lost, our support is lost, because it's all temporary. So naturally, this is illusory. If we think we are lost, it's called spiritual suicide. And if we think the material nature is lost, but I'm still attached to the material body, therefore I will have to wait till reformation of the material nature and I will come back again. So this is called bhutva praliyate. It is created for some time, sustained for some time, and dissolved for some time. And it is going on and on and on. So, but rather, Sanatan Dham, the eternal kingdom, which is never destroyed, can be approached by one who is not bewildered by the attraction of the false material enjoyment, and who is situated in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This engagement to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is of eternal nature. No other engagements are of eternal nature. Only devotional service is of eternal nature. Knowledge by itself is not eternal. Even dhyan doesn't send us to the eternal kingdom. But performance of devotional service, even with our material body which is contaminated, doesn't matter, because the devotional service by its nature is purifying. Just like we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with dirty mouth. With dirty mouth. Don't you think that you will be liberated? You can't think, oh, I should not chant with my dirty mouth because I will not be purified. Then the whole foundational understanding is not there. Understanding is that it is the holy name that is purifying, not your dirty mouth. Once you washed, then it will be purifying. Don't try to restrict the potency of spiritual transcendence, spiritual potency of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is important, that because the nature of devotional service is eternal, it is not a temporary thing. Even however what work or inclination to to the effect of Rajogun, that is karma para. But because the work is not of devotional type, then the effect is not permanent. He will be working in the influence of sukha, dukkha, sometimes happy, sometimes miserable. But if he performs the devotional service, it is never experienced like temporary happiness and temporary miserable. No. It is ever continuing. So, the nature of devotional service is to be adopted. If we engage our senses only in these objects of sense gratification, then they themselves become the source of misery. All right? Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. So, Buddha means buddhiman, those who know how to discriminate what is the situation of the sense gratification. They never indulge in them. They remain away. Knowingly, we have to keep away with it. So, that is not an act of devotional service. And one who is always remaining under the influence of sense gratification, then he forgets even his adhyatma or atma buddhi, vyavasayatmaka buddhi, he will never gain. Bhogeshware prasaktanam taya pratasyetasham vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhav na vidiyate. Samadhav, however he tries to put his focus and make his work perfect, it will never happen that it becomes devotional service. So all these Mayavadis, and they do philanthropy, they are frustrated. And out of frustration they say, oh yeah, it is all equal anyway. So Madhav Seva, no, Manav Seva, Madhav Seva. Jana Seva, Ej Prabhu Seva. It is completely erroneous. So, unless and until one is not bewildered by the attraction of false material enjoyment, who is situated in the service of the Lord, so one so situated can easily approach the Supreme Abode. Nata bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatvana nivartante tadhamam paramam mama. What does mean pavak means?
Fire.
Fire. Electricity. Pavak means electricity. How does Krishna know? If we think of this electricity, the name is Saudamini. That is Radharani's name. Electric thunderbolts, when bijli, आकाश में से जब बादल टकराते हैं तो बिजली निकलती है ना, तो बिजली देखकर भक्त को राधा रानी याद आती है. सौदामिनी, दामिनी, दामिनी means बिजली. बादल टकराते हैं ना, छोटा था तो अंदर घर में घुस जाता था. नहीं देखना, वो देखो राधा रानी चमक रही है. कहाँ? बादल घनश्याम. घन यानी घन यानी डेंस ना. घन यानी पानी बरसाने वाला बादल को घन कहते हैं. और वहीं बिजली चमकती है. जिस बादल में पानी नहीं है वहां बिजली नहीं होगी. ठीक है? तो वहां राधा कृष्ण की भावना आती. तो जो ये बिजली को कोई ट्रैप करके डायनेमो चलाता है. There were so many experiments that they want to collect this free energy from the material world. So far nobody has been able to make free energy, because that is an act of, get lost in the material world. Rather, the same subject matter for the devotee becomes so much enlivening to remind them of Lord Radha and Krishna. So everything you can meditate upon, but you have to become free from the effect of the modes of material nature. That is called detachment. Can you become free? Why are you attending Gurukul then? It's important to learn this, okay, not science. We have to learn this. So, the subject matter of 15th chapter has been described in this particular part of introduction, and 2 points have been noted. One is the actual picture of this manifested material world, which is like upside down reflection of the original. All right? If you see an upside down object, okay, but how will you be able to understand that this is real? And upside down, what is the art of understanding upside down into reality?
It's reverse.
Reverse?
You go against the natural.
You have to become detached. Attachment is the way you see, but detachment is really needed to become upside down. If you become upside down, means if you become detached, you will see the reality. With attachment, if you see, then it is not a valid path. Devotional service will eventually make you detached, that's guaranteed, from this temporality, upside down picture of the material world. You have to come out of it. You have to become free, get liberated, and then try to see. In our senses, what is the best sense to make us liberated? Hearing. So always try to see through the ears. In Gurukul, do you practice that? You have to see through ears. Prabhupada teaches you have to see through your ears. Means what?
Listening Harikatha. Listening Harikatha, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes. What will happen?
It will purify our mind.
Yes. And then you will start seeing the upside down. Again, upside down means all right. Right? If you become twice upside down, such realization come even in a barber shop. How? When you go for a haircut, there is a mirror in the front. But in barber shop, there is also another back mirror. So, if you see yourself in the back mirror, isn't it front? You have 360-degree vision. You can see the front part and back part also. So, if you see that this camera is standing on 3 legs, and suppose if it is other way around and want to see you this way, then what will you do?
We'll have to rotate it.
Oh my God, how can you do that? The whole world is like that. How can you rotate the world?
We can rotate the camera, but not the world.
No, don't rotate the camera. You rotate yourself and see. Then it is possible, isn't it? So, the detachment is rotating oneself. All right? Attachment means you want to rotate that, which is not possible. The whole material world is like that. So this is the kind of allegory and understanding given to understand that this material world is nonetheless a reflection. It may be temporary, but we have a temporary opportunity to understand this. We do not live for long, and material world, it will take so many years to change, and we will not be there to change it. You are not going to get opportunity to change that. Rotate it. Rotate yourself. All right? So you will be able to see the true picture. Okay? Anybody has any question?
Yes.
Yes.
Please, would you mind telling once again? Hare Krishna. You're just talking about try to see with your ears. Please, could you explain that further? For me, it is difficult to understand.
Yes, this is the famous telling by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Don't try to see Krishna with your eyes. Try to see Krishna with your ears.
How?
By listening about him. You know, the words of transcendence are very powerful. The sight of transcendence has never been much described in the Shastra. But the sound vibrations have been given more importance. All right? Even when Krishna appears before Dhruva Maharaj or before Narad Muni in their previous lives, Krishna appeared before them. And they became very choked but they could not speak anything. Actually, Vishnu disappeared from Narad Muni when he was the maid servant's son. All right? Krishna disappeared immediately. So Narad understood, oh, I brought him by my austerity. Let me do the austerity again, and he will come. And no. He came in the sound vibration. He said, foolish boy, don't try to see me. I came on my own sweet will. You have to give up this material body and these attachments. Then you will become, my servant, eternal servant. So, sound vibration is more powerful than the sight. Four Kumaras were estimating the effulgence of the Lord, but when he actually appeared, they were completely baffled. Some millions of suns were rising at the same time. The effulgence itself was blinding them, and they failed to estimate the Brahmajyoti aspect. They were liberated, and they were thinking that, he may be very effulgent like the sun. But when the Lord appeared, there were thousands of suns simultaneously appearing. So, you can't estimate the effulgence, even though we are liberated. But Krishna's mercy is very personal. Very personal. And to devotees, he does reciprocate appropriately. So, devotees would like to hear his glories for further purification, so Krishna can appear, not only in the form of effulgence, but in the form of personality. Isn't it? They were asking. So first here, the devotee, when hears, then he will create an aptitude to see. Without properly hearing, how would he be knowing how is Krishna? What is Krishna?
So Guru Maharaj is reading those books. Is that the same as actually hearing what you
Yes.
read, reading what you read?
Yes. So the aim of our devotional service, which is to be in front of the Lord, it is by hearing process. If we continue in a liberated state, chant Hare Krishna and serve the deity, serve and develop those divine qualities and understand the Leela, the Lord is in front of you. He will be properly understood. But first hearing and chanting is there. So we have to progress in that realm. Otherwise, if we fail to see the Lord through our eyes are compared like the painted plume of peacock. They also look like eyes, but they are painted plumes. Sukadeva Goswami says. So, we have to see through our ears. See means recognize, observe. See. We have to look into each and every characteristics of the Lord. And the seeing process is right from the lotus feet of the Lord and rise above. So again, the comparison of Lord's body parts are called lotus. They are compared with lotus. Namaha pankajanabhaya, namaha pankajamaline, namaha pankajanetraya, namaha pankajangre. So everywhere you see the lotus, then where will you see the Lord? If everything is lotus. But why comparison of lotus? That is to be understood through proper hearing. Why lotus flower has been so much put up and amongst all other flowers? In Srimad Bhagavatam, only lotus is the word for all the flowers is written. Lotus is having a more predominant position. Where does the lotus grow? In the mud, not in the water. Panka, pankaja. Panka means mud. There is water above it, but why it comes out on the surface even of the water? It doesn't grow in the water. It comes out. Soul is also compared to the lotus. The spirit aspect, the transcendental aspect of the soul, super soul, all are compared with lotus. Why? Because we are also growing in the muck of Maya, mud, material world, the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego, everything is muddy. And the soul is above it. Soul should not keep any drop of these material elements. That is the nature. If you examine botanically, the lotus flower, the birds, every part, even the lotus leaf, every part has so tiny bristles rising above from the surface of the petal or the leaf, and that the drop of water is suspended on it and it does not touch the leaf. So, even though you use allegorically comparison with the lotus, it signifies that he is not allowed to be affected from the muck. Just like lotus leaf, jivanatalamala, kamaladala jala jivanatalamala. That is, that water is very, very agile because it is not sticking to the surface. So little wave will come, the water will be dropped, it will fall off. That is comparison to our life. But as a nature, the soul is supposed to be unaffected by the modes of material nature. It has to come out. So Krishna has given this, allegory, but it is actual, available example. All this we have to hear and then try to see the Lord, who is compared by Kunti Devi in the language of lotus. Everything of the Lord about. Pankajanab, his so many names are transcendental, because there is no difference between subject and object. Kamala Kant. So hearing is more important than seeing it. If we are accustomed just to see through the eyes, but then meditation doesn't require eyes. It requires internal eyes. Jnana Chakshu or Hriday Chakshu. So these eyes are only looking at the reflections, and reflections are always upside down. Does it make sense?
Yeah. I thought they are talking about hearing. So for me, maybe stupidly, I thought, hearing is hearing all the lectures. But hearing in this case also studying all the important books.
Naturally. That comes Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. These three are super excellent foundation for developing personal relationship or devotional service of Archanam, Vandanam, Pujanam and Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. The foundation is super solid by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Any other question? Yeah.
Maharaj, you said that the Brahmajanji is permeating the material world. If it wasn't, then how could we become purified? That was a very intriguing point for me. Is it possible you could elaborate on that? Because I hadn't considered that before, or really, I don't think, explored that. But I just had always just taken a very simple way that the Holy Krishna form, and through sound, the holy name is what's purifying.
Harmonizing. What is that harmonizing?
I heard that you said that the Brahmajyoti was permeating the material world, and if it wasn't, how could we become purified, spiritualized? Could you explain?
Well, in the material world is also occupying a space in Brahmajyoti. The whole material world is in spiritual sky, but lying in one corner. But spiritual sky is 3 times bigger, right? And within the spiritual sky, when the manifestation takes place, it is by nature completely opposite than the reality. Just like 3 transcendental modes are Sat, Chit and Anand. When through the Mahavishnu's glance, they become reflected in the material as Sattva, Raja and Tama. The spiritual world ruled by the transcendental modes, and material world is ruled by material modes. So, reflection is there, but we do not have to take reflection as all in all. No, reflection is there. Yes, I have been given reflection, but there is a spiritual way to become, detached to the reflection. Then you will be all okay. After all, your constitution is spiritual. The body is material, but a little soul is overcoming the effects of the 3 modes of material nature. So it is possible that you gain the same advantage in Kali Yuga, which was available by other processes and other yugas. Ultimately, we belong to their spiritual nature. We don't belong here. Otherwise, we are thinking we are part of this material world. Ha ha. Yes, the soul is never part of material world. So as long as we think we are other than the soul, spiritual part, then this world is for us. But Prabhupada said, if you are a gentleman, this material world is not for you. Get out from here. So everything is completely opposite. Opposite means dvanda. Dvanda means duality. Both are simultaneously existing by material qualities. There is a tall, so there is a short. There is a hard, then there is a soft. The world of opposites, it is called. And the soul is not in the opposite nature, because it is eternally part and parcel of very vibrant source of all, that is Krishna. How can it diminish its value system by easily being sold off in the material world? How is it possible? Everybody deserves a chance in human form of life, especially. So, all these things are applicable to human being, even though they are truth for each and every living entity. But human experience and human realization, 2 are 2 different things. realization guided by Bhagavad-Gita and the world of competition and exploiting the resources of material nature, that's another thing. It is everywhere. Just like we were talking, that even though we occupy a little branch or a twig, but we want to swoop that area. A person who is lost, how can he make any progress within that darkness or ignorant aspect of its existence? Does it make sense? Brahma faced that himself. When Brahma was born on the lotus field, everything was dark. There were no sun, no moon. When he prayed to the Lord through tapascharya, then the Lord became merciful to show himself. First he shook hand. All right? And next time he showed his lotus feet. Come and surrender now. I'm helping you, but now you have to surrender. Then the potency that was borrowed, suns, moons, and all planetary system and other things were created. Then Brahma could become Prajapati to establish all the Shushupta jivas, suspended life to give proper situation. And that is so much difficult, so much difficult. Nothing was easy. Why there was difficulty for Brahma? Because the realm of the three modes of material nature is not going to be giving us peace. We must rise above at least two base modes of passion and ignorance and establish ourselves in mode of goodness. But even goodness is going to bind us, not liberate us. So therefore chant Hare Krishna and become transcendental. What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea.
We have been given opportunity. Prabhupada worked so hard. The real cooperation is that try to realize. He requests us, try to realize. Well, this is a little glimpse that I could realize little bit, so I'm speaking like that somebody can have a better realization. This 15th chapter is actually to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But how to bring us out from the state of ignorance is the first and foremost thing that he has to tell us. So he tells first, you are a lost kid first. You better come out and then try to understand me. He is Purushottam. This chapter is called the Yoga of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. This is quite important chapter, even though it has only 20 slokas, but very profound. Nowhere in any of the world literature you would see anybody, either expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, avatar, or anybody has ever claimed such supremacy, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottamam.
Which chapter was it, please? Which chapter?
15, this chapter. 15th. Any other question or comments? Jai Srila Prabhupada ki